Billy Joel thing, I've been informed by my wife. Got to do that. We've been married 30 years now. Madison Square Garden, so that's why that's on. Today, I wanted to talk about one of the focuses of land, which is the roof maintenance piece. And that was something that Brian had put together that you don't see a lot of here in Oklahoma. There's a lot of other areas of the country where companies do roof maintenance. We don't see a lot of it around here. And I kind of wanted to discuss what we do, why it's important, why you should do it or not do it. One of the things with land is that they follow Brian's philosophy of always wanting to do the right thing, always wanting to do more than what's necessarily expected, take care of that customer, and provide them with a quality service. We do hand nailing, which most of the other companies around here don't. And with the roof maintenance, we try and help the homeowner prolong the life of the roof and avoid bad situations. If you don't take care of your roof over time, it will deteriorate faster. One of the biggest issues we find with roofs throughout Oklahoma is under ventilation. We can get into that, but most of the homes, roofs that are installed, don't have enough ventilation. That causes the shingles to deteriorate faster, they blister. You also are not getting the moisture out, which causes problems to the structure. And so, ventilation is one of the things. If land didn't do your roof in the last few years, you probably don't have adequate ventilation. And that does cause a lot of issues. Now, when we go out and we do a roof maintenance, not only do we check the ventilation, we also check for any of your problem areas, any places where you might get a leak. That would be anywhere around any kind of penetrations, your skylights, your chimneys, also your vent caps. The rubber around your vent caps will deteriorate over time. That does need to be replaced. And so, all those things need to be maintenanced. Otherwise, you do get leaks. Our roof maintenance program starts at about $195, a little more than $15 a month. But what we do for that is we come out, not only do we check and take care of all the minor maintenance issues, but we also clean out the gutters and we'll trim back any trees that are there and let you know of any issues. Now, if you have a house that's in the middle of nowhere, you don't have trees around it, you don't really have any problem areas, you don't have any gutters, there's not a lot that we need to do. One of the main things we see going out are nail pops. That's where the nails tend to work their way up and push the shingle up. That has to do with our wonderful Oklahoma weather. As the lumber gets hot and cold, it contracts, expands, and those nails will start to work their way up. We just come and try and make sure all those are down, and as well as take care of any of those other issues. So that's one of the things that we are very proud to do, is have that roof maintenance program where we can come out, like I say, once a year or twice a year based on your situation. Some people have a lot of trees, they need it, some are twice a year, spring and fall. The roof maintenance program, we're trying to really pump it up over the next year. And so you'll hear me talking about it more in the meetings, and I'll be giving you guys more information on it, kind of what we're looking for those homeowners. But primarily just wanting to make people cognizant of what's going on up on top of their roof. For the most part, you don't need to do anything to prep for winter if you've had a good install done and if you have somebody checking it periodically. Most people don't get up on their roofs to check things. But if you do have trees where you have debris on the roof, if you have problem areas that are prone to leak over time, get those things checked out. So, that's what our roof maintenance program is for, and we can customize it from a small house to a very large house, very complex. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Anybody? Yes, Dan?
I've got a question. My house is 10 years old. When I look in my gutters, there's more roof debris in my gutters than I think is still on my roof.
Yes.
Should I be worried worried about that?
Sounds like you need a maintenance.
Well, it
Maintenance.
depends. That depends if it's really more than it's on the roof, or if it's just natural and it just sheds over time, and it will accumulate there in the gutters, and if they're not cleaned out, it will just sit there. When the shingles are shipped, they do have extra granulars on them. Then as we go through these storms, the heavy rains, the driving winds, the hail, they'll dislodge granulars. That doesn't mean that your shingles are necessarily compromised, but once it gets to the point where it has dislodged enough where it's exposing the asphalt underneath, then that's where it becomes a concern. That's why when the hail damages it, bruises it, over time, it will turn into a leak. That doesn't happen within a week, a month, a year, even 2 or 3 years, but the insurance companies know that those shingles are now compromised. They will deteriorate much faster.
Okay, one
Sure.
follow-up. On the maintenance, I've noticed a couple places on my roof, like on the edge, where they finished the tile, shingles, whatever they are. Some of those are starting to come off, just small little pieces. Is that part of the maintenance plan, or?
Well, absolutely. Any issues you have like that, I'm not sure which areas you're talking about, but anything you have that's coming off, any problem areas, we check, we will re-caulk around any of those penetrations, make you aware of things. If it's something simple that they can take care of when they're out there, there is no cost. If it's something that they need to bring somebody else back, they need to order materials for, then they get that scheduled, and you get a very good discount on that.
Thank
Yes, Brian?
Why is hand nailing so important?
Hand nailing is so important because of the overall quality that the workmanship that the roofers put in when they do the hand nailing. They can feel when it goes in, whether it's going into a good nailable surface, how far they drive that nail in, when they're using the pneumatic guns. If they're not paying attention and they go in at an angle, it can blow through, which causes blow-offs in high winds. The guns have gotten much better, but overall for quality, hand nailing is better for those reasons.
Just help on identifying who needs roof maintenance. Like I've got a next door neighbor and the roof today is covered with leaves from last year. That would be a problem. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. If you have debris accumulating on the roof, that will start to rot. That will become a problem. So you want to get that off. If your gutters are full, you don't have gutter guards, gutter screens on there, you need to get that cleaned out. I know David does gutter cleaning, he talked about it, but it's not his favorite. It can be a real mess, but if you don't get those gutters cleaned out, it can be a huge problem. So yes, anybody who has trees that don't have a teenager at home to clean out their gutters, they're a prime person for the roof maintenance program. Like I say, if you don't have trees, you're a very simple house, there's not a lot other than nail pops that may occur, but if you have a more complex house that has dead valleys, that has flashing issues, chimneys, skylights, that sort of thing, as well as the gutters, trees, then that definitely makes it more necessary to have it.
Questions over here?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I have a couple. But whenever you're talking about the nail gun thing,
Yes.
I just want to say that's so important because we actually had a whole section that blew up in 2 different storms that kind of threw our insurance out of whack. And they told us that the average life of a roof in Oklahoma is 2 years. So I was going to ask, what is the average life of a roof in Oklahoma?
Good question. The average life of a roof in Oklahoma kind of depends on where your property sits versus the hailstorms that come. That really determines how quickly somebody does replace their roofs. I've been doing this for 9 years, and every home in the metro I think has been hit at least once in that 9 years and should have been replaced. The ones that haven't now are having serious issues. Certainly a roof shouldn't last just 2 years. If you don't have this kind of weather that we experience with the damaging hailstones, you know, the roofs should last 30 years. The majority of the shingles we put on have a 30-year warranty, 30-year life.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. We put on the high warranty, but then I really think it was the workmanship that caused it to like blow up in a windstorm. I mean, we obviously used a different roof for the next
On a hot
time.
day.
But storage side, they always ask if we're trying to get quotes or whatever, the age of the roof.
Mhm.
Can you tell us, like, how important is that, or is it more the maintenance would be?
They're both very important. You know, if the roof hasn't experienced any major storms, like I said, it can last 25 to 30 years. It is sitting out in the sun, and so over time, the shingles do get more brittle. It does slowly deteriorate. So the age of it for that is important. You know, also, they're probably asking because based on which insurance company it is, they may hit a point where they go to you know, ACV versus RCV based on the age of the roof. Replacement cost value versus actual cost value. And so some of the insurance companies change that based on the age of the roof. To answer your question, what's the most important? If you don't maintain it, if you have debris up there that's causing rot, if you're not taking care of the siding, if you're not taking care of the overall maintenance portion, it's not going to last near as long. Also, with the quality of the workmanship, if it's not done correctly, the least of your worries really is how they nailed the shingles, because the majority of the issues come at the critical points, the flashings, the fine things around the edges. And if in the field they had problems, the rest of it I'd be very worried about as well. Yes, sir.
Last question, your chip leader, you're in the small blind, you got queen 10 offsuit, you stay in hand. You're in the small blind, you're the chip leader, you're playing four-handed. Queen 9 offsuit.
You can't give away.
All in. All in.
10. Offsuit. Staying in it?
I've been, you know, probably not.
Okay.
I have to get a little more context with the table and what's going on, but no, probably not.
Rub the side.